We are on an outward bound expedition in Norway. Here at Schule Schloss Salem, the entire Year 9 is going to the wilderness of Scandinavia in early summer. Together, we leave our familiar everyday life, the comfort zone, the boarding school, and go into the great outdoors. We will make the long journey to and from the school by bus, with a short stopover at a partner school in Denmark, where we will finally pack our things into our backpacks. Then it's off to Norway. The hiking gear is packed, the excitement is rising, and we are released in small groups into the middle of the wilderness. We walk together for 9 days through the impressive fjell landscape and have all our food with us. The group consists of 10 to 15 young people and 3 supervisors each. The everyman's right, often called right to roam in English, prevailing in Norway, which is why we're allowed to wild camp everywhere, is one of the reasons for the long journey into these natural landscapes. We learn to take responsibility for ourselves, for others, and for the nature in which we are allowed to stay. Both physically and mentally, we repeatedly reach our limits along the way and often outgrow ourselves. We walk the whole day in sometimes quite exhausting stages, and each of us is also leader of the day at some point. Which means that usually 2 of us take responsibility for a group of all its tasks for a whole day.
Ich bin Charlotte. Am heutigen Tag bin ich Leader of the Day. Das ist eine Aufgabe, bei der man die Route einplant, das Tempo bestimmt, die Pausen festlegt und bei der Gruppe natürlich für gute Stimmung sorgt. Am Ende muss man aber auch die Verantwortung übernehmen. Das ist aber auch das Schöne daran.
In the evening, we look for a nice place to camp, where drinking water, for example, a running body of water, is available very close by if possible. Then we set up our tents. Always 3 of us form a food and cooking group during the whole expedition. We learn how to set up the tent in a wind and rainproof way, how to assemble the poles, how to place the pegs correctly, how to tighten the cords, or how to help ourselves with stones. When everyone has set up their tent, each tent group has a very cozy little home.
Hallo, ich bin Lisanne und heute zeige ich euch mal unser Camp. Also hier ist unser Feuerplatz, da versammeln wir uns abends, kochen zusammen und haben eine Reflection vom Tag, was wir heute so gemacht haben und was uns am besten gefallen hat. Dann sind hier unsere 4 Zeltgruppen aufgebaut und ich zeige euch jetzt mal mein Zelt. Das hier ist mein Zelt. Hier schlafe ich mit 2 anderen Zeltmitbewohnerinnen, Mia und Schumi. Und insgesamt sind wir eben zu dritt. Und zusammen haben wir unser Essen eingekauft, das wir zusammen essen. Und wir haben das Zelt auch zusammen aufgeteilt, dass jeder etwas vom Zelt trägt. Ich schlafe in der Mitte und dort ist es natürlich am wärmsten.
It is clear that we are very, very happy when we have found a tent site in the evening, and then it is time to make hot food. Once a day there has to be something warm. We carefully bought all the food beforehand in Germany with our companions, and neatly portioned and packed it at our stop in Denmark.
Hallo, ich bin Georgia und in unserer Zeltgruppe gibt es heute Tortellini mit Tomatensauce und wir bereiten jetzt die Kochstelle vor. Und zwar müssen wir das erstmal hier so ausklappen. Also, das Wasser ist jetzt schon heiß und wir machen jetzt die Tortellini hier rein. Und jetzt können wir es uns schmecken lassen.
A very special experience that we are allowed to have on this expedition is a solo, that we do after about half of the expedition. We are truly alone for 24 hours in a beautiful spot, which we are allowed to find ourselves at a safe distance from our supervisors. The only things we're allowed to take with us are our sleeping bag, sleeping mat, warm clothes, drinking water, and a small snack to eat. The supervisors check up on us regularly, but conversation between us is not allowed during a solo.
Hallo, ich bin der Max. Ich bin hier gerade auf meinem 24-Stunden-Einzel-Solo unterwegs. Ich habe meinen Schlafsack und meine Isomatte dabei und habe mir einen Shelter gebaut, der mich in der Nacht auch vor Regen bewahrt hat. In diesem 24-Stunden-Einzel-Solo merkt man auch wirklich, dass man alleine ist, weil man niemanden sieht, niemanden hört. Und man hört nur das Rauschen des Flusses oder das Rauschen des Windes. Und man muss auf einen Brief schreiben, den man in einem Jahr von diesem Zeitpunkt liest. Da musste man auch wirklich ziemlich überlegen, was man da reinschreibt.
Another highlight for us students is the group finals. In the last days, when the supervisors believe that we have learned enough, that we have mastered the daily routines and, above all, that we stick together and function well as a team, they give us a chance to be on our own as a group for 24 hours. They follow us, just in sight, and do not interfere in our decisions and routines. Of course, they need a lot of trust in us, and we need courage as well as trust in ourselves. Courage to accept this challenge and to be able to do it as a team. Route planning, setting up and dismantling the camp, cooking, maybe even taking care of a small injury and just mastering everything that comes up in the course of a wilderness day. Afterwards, we are really proud of a very special time which binds us together even more. The most important experiences we have here at Outward Bound are that we manage to cope with these physically demanding stages in everyday life in the wilderness, in rain, sleet and snow. Of course, each for himself, but most importantly as a group. We support each other, help each other, accept help, and experience emotional and physical highs and lows. Moreover, it is impressive to be truly immersed in nature for quite a long time, to let it come really close to you. It goes without saying that we handle nature with care, but many things make even more sense here. It's a given that we take our trash with us, but it becomes particularly apparent here just how much nature also gives us, like a drinking water for example. Much of what we experience here, we bring back into our everyday lives. The third thing that we become particularly aware of here is the consequence of our own actions. Out here, it often becomes clear very quickly that everything we do can have direct consequences. For example, when we cross a river, we open the chest and hip belts beforehand so that the backpack doesn't push us into the water in the event of a fall. Or, if we don't always carefully pack our food in a watertight container, or don't twist our gas bottles tightly, we might not be able to prepare delicious meals as a small group. In our evening reflection rounds, we review many things and try to draw parallels to everyday life, or support each other and also laugh together. At Schuler Schloss Salem, we have an outdoor educational event in almost every grade. But the highlight for most of us definitely is the Outward Bound expedition in 9th grade. Whoever was there, whoever let themselves be led, whoever took over leadership, and whoever let themselves be helped or gave help, will never forget it. And it is a unique experience from which we ourselves return home noticeably more mature. After the 9 days in a small group, there's a grand reunion with all the other expedition groups. When we then finally embrace, filled with joy, we truly realize what we have achieved and that we will remember this time forever.